With so many zombie movies out there, it's hard to keep straight on why one is different from the others. With the exception of zombie strippers, most zombie movies feel like they're just redoing the last one. That isn't the case with 2017's The Girl with All the Gifts. Spoiler alert, obviously, while this is just my opinion, I highly recommend you try the film out for yourself. Links to the movie are in the description. We open up on Melanie, who's getting herself ready for the soldiers that are coming down the hall. What are those? What is going on? This sweet little girl is just smiling away like she's ready for a treat, and then this guard with a damn semi-auto rifle barges in with his finger already on the trigger. What am I watching? What is going on? That feels like an awful lot of security for a little girl that seems to be the most polite person in this universe. As the soldier rolls Melanie down the hall, we see that there are many more children in the same situation as her. Each one is strapped down in a wheelchair and wheeled into a room that looks like a prison schoolroom. I'm sorry, we've got rows of kids strapped to wheelchairs while wearing Crocs. This is definitely not your everyday zombie movie. Here we meet Melanie's teacher, Miss Justineau. Obviously, she's someone of importance to the story because she's the only one so far to treat these kids like human beings.
There isn't anything bad here, is there?
I'm pretty sure we'll find out soon enough. The next morning, breakfast is served in the children's cells. Ew, what is this place? It's not even a regular bowl, it's a dog bowl full of worms. This is Dr. Caldwell, and I can already tell she is trouble. The next day in school, Melanie shows Justineau just how much she means to her by writing a story about the two of them living happily ever after. As Justineau cries, she goes to touch Melanie's head, but she's rudely interrupted by Sergeant Parks, who demonstrates why she shouldn't touch her. Why have they been leaving her alone with a classroom full of little demon zombies anyways? I feel like that's a terrible security fault. That night, Melanie upsets Sergeant Parks so much that he leaves her restrained in her chair the entire night. Justineau goes into her cell to try and set her free, but the scent is too much for Melanie. Justineau gets away, but just barely. The next morning, the kids are all taken to school except for Melanie. After the kids are gone, soldiers come in to take Melanie somewhere different. Of course, Sergeant Parks is the one to come get her. Can we just let him get eaten already? As they continue, he takes Melanie outside where we can see that we're actually on a military base. Hey, zombies! I've been waiting for those! Sergeant Parks takes Melanie into a building where Dr. Caldwell is waiting for her. Her assistant sedates Melanie, and the two of them prepare to operate on her to remove her brain.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Okay, that's a huge freaking fire extinguisher. She's brandishing it like it's nothing. I'd probably stay back from her. As Dr. Caldwell tries to talk Justineau into going along with the procedure, she pepper sprays her and gets security to take her away. Then suddenly, the alarm starts to sound. Dr. Caldwell refuses to stop the procedure, but she tells her assistant to take the necessary precautions.
That would be extremely helpful.
Yes, that's one bad person down. Why couldn't it be the sergeant? And look how Dr. Caldwell handled that fire extinguisher. Are fire extinguishers a reliable weapon in the apocalypse? I feel like I should stock up on some hefty ones now. In the confusion, Melanie is able to grab a scalpel and cut herself free. As she runs outside, she can see that the zombies have definitely started to overrun the human base. When she catches sight of Justineau, she sees that she's in danger, so she runs over and kills the two soldiers that are standing over her. Once Justineau realizes what happened, she carries Melanie and tries to find a way for them to get away. Close call, and did we really have to make that a kind of jump scare? This whole scene has me tense without one. Justineau throws herself and Melanie into the back of the truck, and Sergeant Parks drives them out of the complex. We also find out that Dr. Caldwell is one of the survivors that is in the truck with them. Fantastic. Once Sergeant Parks realizes that Melanie is in the back, naturally he pulls a gun on her. Of course. Justineau tries to let her escape, but she really doesn't go very far. Dr. Caldwell explains that Melanie is vital and she must come with them. Dr. Caldwell tries to suggest sticking Melanie in the wheel well, but Justineau doesn't like that plan. I wouldn't mess with Justineau. Did she forget how she was wielding that fire extinguisher? And the wind-up on that slap was ridiculous. I'd say that's a win for everyone unless it starts raining. As the crew stops to get water, one of the soldiers forgets to put a suppressor on his gun, and when he shoots at a bush, he attracts a horde of zombies. Once the zombies are killed, Sergeant Parks notices that one of his soldiers is bleeding from his arm. The soldier tries to play it off as a cut, but Sergeant Parks makes him wait a minute. I love how no one messes around with the infected here. Why take the chance? You'll know quick enough. When they try to start the truck, they realize that the gas tank has somehow gotten shot. Now they have no choice but to walk to headquarters. Well, this is just unsettling. We couldn't go around the town? As they sneak past the zombies, the group moves with absolute silence. Eventually, the horde of zombies gets too thick for them to walk through. Soon they find a zombie pushing a baby stroller through the crowd, and Dr. Caldwell has to investigate. Of all people to alert the horde, the last one I expected was the damn doctor. She literally knows more about zombies than anyone else there. Why did she gasp at a rat? This slowly alerts zombies one by one, but they find a new route upstairs that takes them a route that has fewer zombies. They take shelter in what looks to be a hospital, and they reckon to make sure they are alone.
If you need me, shout. Really loud.
Yes, Mr. Snow.
That evil eye she's giving Dr. Caldwell, and now she has a gun. We thought the fire extinguisher was bad. Now that Melanie is alone with Dr. Caldwell, she's finally able to ask some questions that she's been burning to know the answers to. She learns that she's actually part of a special type of human that had been born infected as a zombie, but still retained the ability to think. She learns that these infected babies actually ate their way out of their mothers. Well, if you didn't think pregnancy was crazy enough as is, just imagine being devoured from the inside out. I feel like that would be a nightmarish feeling. The next day brings even more of the zombies outside their door. After much deliberation, Melanie decides that their only way of getting out is if she goes and lures the zombies away. While Dr. Caldwell hesitates at the thought of letting her go, the group decides to trust Melanie. I was wondering when she was gonna eat. The last thing I remember her eating was that dog bowl of worms. Now that she's not starving to death, Melanie goes and scavenges for food and items for the group. This is also her first time outside of the facility, so everything is magical to her. She finds a dog and she brings it back to the group to lure the zombies away.
I'm not hungry now.
I feel like she should clarify to the group that that is cat blood and not human blood, just a thought. As they continue on, Sergeant Parks starts to utilize her more, as well as praise her more.
Do you want a cat?
I already had one.
Oh, is that a bit of humor in an otherwise serious and depressing film? I'll take it. I actually laughed out loud a little at that one.
It's the next stage in the pathogen's life cycle.
There's phases. It gets worse. As if zombies weren't enough, now there are zombie plants. Also, a little farther along, Dr. Caldwell takes a seed. Why? Fun, terrifying fact time. There is a real fungus that is similar to the one talked about in this film. It's called the zombie fungus, but thankfully it only infects carpenter ants. The fungus controls their brain and in turn grows stalks out of their heads that release seeds to infect more. This is a real fungus. Eventually they come to a mobile lab that gives them a bit of time to relax. As the humans might be able to relax, Melanie starts to feel the effects of hunger taking over. So they let her go to find food of her own. She eventually finds a pigeon which quenches her hunger, but the other soldier isn't having as much luck as her. Who is this? Is this gonna be some phase 30 zombie that can become an invisible plant or something crazy? I guess it would make sense that not all of the kids like her were found when they were younger. These are like the lost boys from Peter Pan. Suddenly, the girl that had apparently been stalking the soldier comes in, communicates in their language, and rallies the others to go hunt him. Back at the mobile base, Dr. Caldwell tries to convince Justino to let her operate on Melanie, but Melanie barges in to warn them that the kids are going to hunt the soldier. Before they can leave, they get a call from headquarters, but it's too late for them. The same fate is happening there. The soldier follows a trail of canned goods to a convenience store where he's found by the kids. This is by far the most terrifying part of the whole movie. Why is it always kids in horror movies? There's nothing scarier than a child. It's always kids, man. Did you see how fast those shadows were? Sure enough, the children eat the soldier just as Melanie and the others get to the store. When the group enters the store, they find what's left of him. Not much, honestly. They picked him about as dry as ribs on the bone. When they go back outside, they realize that this was a trap to get them as well. As Melanie embraces her wild side, she fights the leader and in turn handcuffs the leader to a bench and beats him with his own bat. Not gonna lie, her roar is getting really annoying. I'm so happy they made her able to talk this whole time, but holy crap, she just beat a kid to death with his own bat. As they make their way back to the mobile base, they try to come up with a plan of what to do next. When they get there, the doors are wide open though. This woman just won't stop. She's already dying. Why can't she just roll over and lose already? She drags Melanie to the operating table, then goes to clean her wound when...
I'm much faster than you, Dr. Caldwell. If you try to cut me, I'll bite you.
Well, I'll be damned. Between Melanie and Justino, I wouldn't mess with either of them, honestly. Dr. Caldwell tries once again to convince Melanie to sacrifice herself for the greater good. For a second, it seems that she's gotten through to her, yet after a second thought, Melanie decides that it shouldn't be her life thrown away like a test subject. Melanie takes a pack of matches towards the giant tree of zombie seeds. As Dr. Caldwell follows, she's cornered by the children. Finally! As Melanie sets fire to the tree, the pods begin to open. Honestly, that was one of the most mesmerizing sounds and moments of the entire movie. And where can I get matches that set a 50-foot tree on fire in a matter of seconds? As we watch the seeds spread, Melanie runs into Sergeant Parks, who tries to come find Melanie. Once he realizes what has happened and that he's changing, he hands Melanie his gun and tells her to shoot him. With a reluctant heart, Melanie takes aim. That hurt. Never thought I'd say seeing him go would hurt, but it really did. As Justino comes to, she sees Melanie standing outside of the airlock and the seeds flying around behind her. She realizes what Melanie has done and she comes face to face with her. Later, we see Melanie controlling a bunch of children outside of the mobile lab while Justino gives a lesson from behind her airlock.
Can we have stories?
Later, if there's time.
There'll be lots of time.
I can't tell if this is supposed to be a happy ending or just the one we're supposed to accept. Either way, why is she smiling? Honestly, it feels good to get a zombie movie that doesn't stick with the gore and nudity for once. While those are appreciated for what they are, a little intelligence is always a good thing when it comes to breaking the mold. I highly recommend The Girl with All the Gifts. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more like it. Comment what you'd like me to watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.